Coming up on Headline Humboldt, we sit down with County Public Works Director Tom Mattson to discuss the long-standing and forever rising costs of deferred road maintenance. Also, an innovative program at Cal Poly Humboldt examines the genetic history of Humboldt County cannabis, the world-famous strains that helped shape this area's reputation for high-potency pot. Coming up now on Headline Humboldt. From the top of Humboldt Hill, this is Headline Humboldt. I'm James Falk. Thanks for joining us. With all the passion and overwrought rhetoric surrounding social issues and culture wars in this country, we often forget that the most fundamental purpose of governments, big and small, is to keep society's infrastructure intact and prepared for whatever the future brings. It's hardly a sexy topic, but if left undone, it could grind our economy to a halt and even cause physical harm to people left to test their luck on rickety bridges and unsafe roadways. It took decades for the federal government to pass a significant infrastructure bill, which just got over the legislative finish line a little more than a year ago. So many of the benefits we might see under this bill have yet to materialize. But it's safe to say that there's absolutely no way that this law will come anywhere near catching Humboldt County up on its deferred road maintenance. The amount of road construction needed in Humboldt County alone to bring us up to snuff has been in the hundreds of millions of dollars for decades. And so far, there's very few mechanisms we can deploy that will actually see that work done. We'll discuss county efforts to address that backlog momentarily during our interview with Public Works Director Tom Mattson. It's important to remember, however, that such consideration should never fall to the bottom of our collective priority lists. This is work we all agree needs to get done. But so many of our politicians and interest groups are so committed to their respective pet issues and culture wars waged by their most ideological supporters that they have very little motivation to figure out such workaday issues, no matter how badly needed. Politically, it's much better, for instance, to debate a national abortion ban or an assault weapons ban than finally figuring out how to keep state and local governments flush with enough cash to keep the roads fit for use. We'll be back after a moment with tonight's interview.
Friends and supporters of KEET TV, we are calling all who have a passion for public television on the North Coast. KEET is looking for a diverse group of people to join its Community Advisory Board, or CAB. CAB members play an advising role to management and act as KEET's ambassadors within the community. Meetings are held quarterly on Zoom. Go to KEET.org, find the link for CAB, and get involved today. We look forward to meeting you.
Joining me now in studio is Public Works Director Tom Mattson. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
So before we get started, we're going to take a look at some quotes from Tuesday's meeting, I guess it was, that talked about this issue.
Yep. And
give a sense of where the supervisors stand on this.
On average, every car owner spends $900 a year related to road damage to their cars. So for instance, you hit the pothole and there goes your alignment. As your alignment goes out, then the wear and tear on your tires goes down. Broken shocks, rim damage, flat tires.
When Supervisor Madrone speaks of the costs of having a vehicle, it speaks to why we want to seek and create living in community spaces where maybe cars aren't necessarily required. How we plan our communities has impact. Now we're having to pay for that collapse of infrastructure, and frankly, that technology is not self-sustaining. If this is just about cars, we're going to lose at least some of my constituency for sure. We need to think about alternatives with relation to transportation.
I'd love to help the Transit Authority, but they're getting so much money from the state. Let's let the state keep giving us money and try to fix our roads. That's where Humboldt County was built, through timber. I understand that we need to all live in a clump, but we're not all going to live in a clump. It's kind of like transit. That's not for everybody. I'm not as much into telling people where, how, and what they're going to do when they live as I am maintaining what we have had and what we've built. Don't forget how we got here and realize the things that got us here are probably going to keep us here.
We just have many more miles per capita, per person, per parcel than within the city jurisdictions. It just costs more per driver, per person, because we're essentially talking about taxing people in urban and suburban places in order to support less efficient road infrastructure, as it moves farther out. And so we have to make the case, if they're going to be taxed, like, is it fair? Say a renter without a vehicle and you're being asked to be taxed on that. We're going to have to make the case as to why that works.
I remember in the 90s when we were going to abandon the roads, and that a lot of them were in the first district, and the proverbial manure spreader hit the fan.
Because we had maybe some political fervor related to that in the 90s does not mean I think it should be off the table now, because maybe there wasn't the political will, as it were. I think if we're asking all of the county to be taxed and charge them for this, then, I think there should be some accounting with relationship to not just, are all the miles of road out there really effective and effectual? We should be asking ourselves, if that road wasn't there, would we build it? There are other places around the world and in this country where there are mechanisms by which, especially in roads that don't have a lot of traffic, where you're reducing the width of the road pretty significantly to one lane with passing and those sorts of things. And that's just one of the ways that a lot of places deal with this situation, because we're just at a crisis point. Having certain levels of service may become a luxury at some point as opposed to a necessity.
So as I mentioned at the top of the show, I've been covering Eureka, Humboldt County for 22 years, and this has always been a story.
Yep.
Hundreds of millions of dollars of backlog, and it's only been growing. Where's the figure at?
It depends where you want to get to.
Okay.
To get to where we need to get to have the most cost-effective road maintenance program, it's probably about $500 million over the next 10 years.
$500 million. Wow. Now, so define what you mean by the technical term deferred road maintenance. Is that just like fixing the most egregious problems, or is that tarring everything? So
that's maintaining your good roads in good condition. That's your basic your slurry seals, putting oil on the road, not having to repave it. To the worst conditions where you have to dig everything out, start new with rock at the bottom, and build back up through your paving, and that is the most expensive. And unfortunately, many of Humboldt County roads need that. If we can get them to the point where we can just oil the surfaces, we're in really good shape, and our cost to maintain goes way down.
Yeah.
It's the having to rebuild roads that cost so much money.
Yeah. Now, if you were to get to that place, how would your department be overstaffed because you wouldn't have as many maintenance issues as you have now?
We are so far under what we need right now. It would cause a reevaluation, yes. That would certainly, but a lot of what we do is not the pavement. Mm-hmm. A lot of what we do is digging the ditches, it's replacing the culverts, it's cutting the vegetation. None of that goes away, even with a good road surface. Yeah. It's just those extensive costs of rebuilding roads that go away.
Mm-hmm. Now, where is this truly or more problematic than other places? Is there any one district that's suffering more than others, or is it sort of equally spread across the county? It
is pretty much equally spread. Where you have the higher traffic roads, they're in better shape because that's where we invest the most of our money in trying to creep the Central Aves, the Myrtle Aves, the bottom of Humboldt Hill here, before you hit the hill. Those roads we put a lot of effort to keep them in good shape. Mm-hmm. So somebody can yell at me, well, my road's in horrible shape and you're spending money over there. Well, I'm keeping that good high priority road in good shape because it serves the vast majority of the traveling public. Yeah. And we have to get to the other ones as we get to them with the money that we have.
Do you have people yell at you about the roads?
Everybody yells at me about the roads.
Really? So like you're at the supermarket and someone's all,
That's happened. That's happened.
Man.
But a lot of people understand, especially in the rural areas, that we're so limited.
Yeah.
We get a lot of self-help out in the rural areas of the county with people cutting their own road frontages so we don't have to run the mower, people volunteering to do projects with us.
Yeah.
So they're, Humboldt County pulls its own pants on with its own citizenry most of the time, and we may ask for extra help. We're evaluating that right now, looking at different possible funding sources, and we're going to be polling the public to see if they will support us in moving forward. We did this once before in 2016, and it did not go through very well. But we're hoping with a more refined ballot measure and better polling that we can target something that the public will support so we can improve our county road system.
So can we go through the options real quick? What are the options for funding this kind of mammoth price tag?
Well, there's the sales tax is the common option. Parcel taxes are done in some areas. Those are the primary two options. Most of the other options just don't provide funding for basic maintenance, and that's what we need. I don't need big, widening projects and everything else like they do in urban areas. I need to maintain the basic roads that we already have.
Yeah.
And most funding sources that you see from the state and feds, they're for capital projects. They're not for maintaining your own system.
That's one of the questions I was going to ask is, it seems like they have the most money. Why wouldn't they be paying for this? They just don't make money available because that's not part of their remit. Is that right?
Well, they make some available. We do get a portion of the gas tax. We do get a portion of SB1.
Okay.
But as you know, those taxes are allocated really based on population more than anything else. And with a low population and a large number of county roads, we just don't get enough money to keep our roads in really good shape. Yeah. And then when you get into the urban areas, you have a lot more people, they get a lot more money.
Now, 2016, you said you tried this, or the county tried this. What was the proposal then? And, is that sort of the same size you're thinking now?
No, my recommendation this time is that we go specifically for what the voters say they will pay for. We did a wide range sales tax approach the last time, including a lot of critical facilities, bikes, parks, airports, transit, we put everything in there, and the public did not want to pay for everything. And so this time my recommendation, if we move forward, is going to be focus on what the majority of the people will pay for. Everything else will require further efforts, more education to explain, what is needed and why it's needed. But if the public doesn't, tell us they want to pay for it, I can't recommend putting it in a sales tax measure.
Yeah. What's the range of increase that the county might be dealing with? A quarter cent or a half cent?
We're looking probably about a half cent, which gives us that 12 to 15 million a year. But then if we have our own tax and it's dedicated to roads, there's a $200 million allocation from the state through SB1 that is only for self-help counties.
Wow.
And we will get a small portion of that off the top, but we then can compete for the projects, with that money.
You're suddenly available for a whole cash
flow that we've not been available for before.
Okay, and that seems like a pretty important detail to remind the public that it's not just you're paying for this, but you're also showing that the county is willing to do some of this work itself, and therefore
leveraging additional outside funds.
Yeah, it makes it seem like maybe we deserve a little bit bigger piece of the pie. This has been a problem for years, but people can still kind of get where they're going. And I think the Wildcat Road has been famously bad at times and stuff. But what if we don't get the money? What are we looking at in terms of consequences for folks?
Well, eventually roads go back to gravel if you don't have the money to keep the paved surface.
Yeah.
So that, we have a lot of sections of gravel road already in our rural areas where you'll be driving a paved road.
Yeah.
And there'll be a section of gravel because we don't have the money to put pavement back on it. And you have to get to that spot. And so we try to keep the paving where we got paving, but sometimes it just gets so bad we can only rip it up and let it go back to gravel, which is cheaper to maintain. Yeah.
Now, how would you say that this impacts the average citizen in terms of their car? Do you guys have a way to quantify the damages that might be occurring to people's undercarriages and tires?
Well, we don't do that specifically for Humboldt County.
Okay.
But nationwide, it's about $900 a year that people pay for vehicle repairs due to bad roads.
Wow, that's crazy. How do we compare with other counties?
We're getting to be, unfortunately, in the lower portion in the state where there's about 8 counties that are in our boat. A couple are worse. Most are just above us.
Yeah.
Our pavement condition is rated on 0 to 100, and we were at 55 4 years ago. Now we're at 49, and the state average is 66. But that includes like Orange County with great pavement.
And lots of fancy roads.
Yes. So the overall average is 66. We're quite a bit below that and dropping fast.
Yeah, and there's no way that that's going to reverse itself, obviously. It's not like you're going to suddenly go up on that scale without doing the work.
Yeah, the funding needs to be invested, and fortunately right now I've got a board of supervisors that's very interested in trying to fund infrastructure, so we're feeling a little bit positive right now. We'll wait to see what the polling says and what the public say.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned in the intro the infrastructure bill that everyone talks about. It was a big deal, a lot of money. Do you think that that's going to have any money for the county in terms of road maintenance, or is that more for capital projects, like you mentioned?
That's more for capital projects. There's some good bridge funding in there that we can get for our bridges. Most of it, though, they talked a whole lot before passing the bill about doing something around fix it first. There is no program that they passed that goes to fixing it first. It's all building new, or the bridge program is solid, but it's new projects that doesn't give us the flexibility to spend the money on routine maintenance.
Yeah. Now, they were talking briefly about abandoning roads. Is that something that might be considered, and what does that mean exactly for folks?
Well, I've been basically directed to come up with some criteria to look at to see if we would go forward with that. We have vacated some roads in the past based on the public requesting that the county no longer maintain them, mainly for privacy, and they don't serve anybody else. But it means looking through the whole system and looking at uses and trying not to eliminate access to anybody.
Yeah.
But there are roads that go, well within properties. We could look at bringing the county back to the property line, things like that. We haven't developed those criteria yet. But that's certainly been directed by the board to look at that as an option, because if we don't have the money to maintain everything, sooner or later we're going to have to start reducing what we maintain.
There was some mention of public transportation, but I don't see how that really, there's a nexus there with this. Is there one that I'm missing?
Well, transportation taxes, that's why it was included in our last attempt, because generally a lot of transportation taxes aren't just for roads. They're looking at the transit, the bikes, the non-motorized. But the public's got to be willing to pay for that. And that's, I reserve judgment on anything until we pull the public and they say, hey, we're willing to do this or not. So last time we did polling, roads was well over 70% that people were willing to fund, but transit was down in the 20 to 30%. And so that will require a lot of education on behalf of transit people on why the money should be provided for transit.
Now, what's your guys' annual budget in terms of what you normally deal with for maintenance? Overall, even.
Yeah, our normal budget's in the $12 to $15 million range. That's through the gas tax. We're one of the few counties that the board actually still delivers a portion of the property tax to roads. And that includes the roughly $5 million bonus we got from SB 1. But, the bigger projects, in 2017, we had $40 million in storm damage. So those are all capital projects that are now being delivered. And we've got right now about $11.5 million in outstanding billings from FEMA that they haven't reimbursed us on. And we have a total of about $67.5 million in damage since 2017 through the various storms and then the earthquake and the storms that followed that. So that's all money on top, but then that all requires a match. So if I have $67 million in projects, that means I have to have at least $6.7 million in match dollars. And where does that come from? That comes out of that $15 million for maintenance.
Okay. Now, how much of that is discretionary in terms of moving your money around? Are you able to spend that wherever you see fit?
No.
In terms of a
storm damage? Storm damage money is to be spent specifically on the spot that was damaged.
Okay.
We have state and federal regulators that come in immediately and meet with us. We do a damage site assessments and develop the costs, and it's only limited to that single site. So I can't say I can't pave past the limits of that site. I can't rebuild past the limits of that site. And most of the time they pay you to put it back the way it was, and it failed because of the way it was.
Wow.
So it's a bit frustrating at times, but if we didn't do it, the roads would be gone.
Yeah. When someone comes at you at this grocery and they're angry about road maintenance or whatever else, how do you respond to that? I mean, what's your 1 minute spiel to assuage the regular voter?
My people out in the field do wonders. And you can yell at me all you want, but my operator out on this piece of equipment, my flagger, these people are working hard day and night in disasters and for very low wages to try to keep your roads open. So go ahead and yell at me if you want, but have some respect for the people doing the actual work.
Yeah. Now, the fact that we got to this point, I mean, obviously, don't want to blame anybody for whatever, but was this a because of bad management 20 years ago that we ended up being in a situation where there's so much backlog?
This is a nationwide issue. It's not just a Humboldt County issue. The wealthier areas have more resources, but the baseline across the country, I mean, there's a lot of counties that have very few paved roads. They're all still gravel. And so this is really a national issue. It's not a California issue. It's not a Humboldt County issue. It's a national infrastructure crisis.
Now, what would you, I mean, in terms of, what was I gonna, what is a county road for people? I mean, like, you have roads that are in Eureka, but not necessarily in the city limits. You have roads like in the greater Arcata area. You have Old Arcata Road. Are all of those county roads, or is there a different definition for it?
If it's outside of the city limit and not private, then it's a county road, not a state highway. State highways are run by Caltrans, and they get a lot more money than the rest of us.
Yeah, and then the 101's the same way, right?
Yeah, 101's a state highway, 36, 299. 96, those are all maintained by the state. Luckily, 211 and 254, Avenue of the Giants and the highway out to Ferndale, luckily those are not county roads as well. So they're better maintained than the county roads. But all the back roads, those are county roads. So Blue Slide Road between Ferndale and Riodale, that's a county road. Bald Hills Road is a county road. Alder Point Road, Matoll Road, Maple Creek Road.
Some of the most beautiful drives you can take in Humboldt County. I mean, it's like those are the ones you go to when you want to take your family out. At least I do.
We have a gorgeous backcountry. If you have not traveled your own backcountry in Humboldt County, you're missing out a lot because we have gorgeous country out there.
Yeah. Now, I mean, last question about the roads issue. I mean, how does this impact safety? I mean, so is it an impact on safety to have unmaintained roads or poorly maintained roads, and could we actually save lives by funding these things?
Well, the better the road, the safer the road. If you can fund, we've been getting, luckily, we've been getting a lot of safety funds lately and doing guardrail replacement projects, adding striping on our rural roads where out in the middle of the night, in the middle of a rainy storm out in Bald Hills or Alder Point, it's very difficult to see the edge of the road. So we've been adding striping on the edges of the road. We add guard markers and signs. We're really focused on the low-cost safety improvements. Everybody wants to build a nice wide shoulder and all these other things, and it's sometimes the cheaper things have a much higher safety effect, like signing and striping have huge safety effects.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, turn your eyes to the side of the road when you can't, if you're blinded by someone's brights or whatever else.
And you can't see the side of the road because there's no fog line.
Exactly right, and then you're really screwed. Last question I have, I mean, this week another story broke about a suit against the Public Works Department. It's been reported that former Deputy County Counsel Kathy Childs alleged wrongful termination. She's seeking $1.4 million in damages. I understand that you're limited in what you can say in terms of personnel and litigation, but I wanted to know if you had any reaction or anything you wanted to say in terms of what's been reported so far from your perspective.
No, it's just been very upsetting that those claims were made against my personnel because I have excellent personnel, and I can't say any further than that because it is a pending lawsuit.
Yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate you coming down and doing this and talking to us about the roads, and hopefully we can finally get some of that deferred road maintenance off the bill. When might it go before the voters?
That will depend on the polling. So after the polling, I will bring it back to the board with the results of the polling and make some recommendations. So we're trying to target probably November 2024, the presidential election.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Kinetic Universe is proud to announce the Kinetic Grand Championship 2023. It all starts Saturday, May 27th and continues through the 29th, beginning at the Arcata Plaza. Make sure to show up early each day of the race for maximum glory. Day 2 water entry takes place at the Samoa Bridge, and the finish line on Day 3 is in Ferndale. This 3-day battle of the arts, engineering, and speed will be broadcast live on KEET TV and streamed online. For more information about the race, go to kineticgrandchampionship.com. The 137th Ferndale Memorial Day celebration is Monday, May 29th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ferndale veterans, along with other organizations, coordinate a parade beginning at the Veterans Memorial Building. The parade ends at the Ferndale Cemetery for a service and the Honor Guard rifle salute, followed by taps. Please come down to Ferndale to honor the servicemen and women of our armed forces. Tune in to KEET TV for live coverage of the parade beginning at 10 a.m.
I'm the program director of an undergraduate degree program in cannabis studies with 2 concentrations, environmental stewardship and equity and social justice. And it's the first liberal arts undergraduate degree cannabis studies program of its kind. There's a lot of other things going on across the country, and a lot of them are oriented towards, industry training or the specifics of law. A lot of really good stuff. A lot of medicinal plant chemistry programs. A lot of really great, developments across the education landscape. But this one's a little unique in that it's, it grounds all of our students in the, history and culture and geography of the plant, and then also, how we've related to it over time. And the goal is to really be able to have students be able to graduate with, applied tools to work in the public or private sector around cannabis or other issues, but broadly in the interest of, stewardship, environmental stewardship, community stewardship. So it's an applied critical studies program.
That was Dominic Corva, sociology professor and cannabis studies program director at Cal Poly Humboldt. And he is now leading a research team to identify, document, and preserve California's cannabis genetics. Corva will be looking to tell the genetic story of cannabis development throughout the state, from Humboldt County to the Central Coast and even on to Southern California. Strains like Sour Diesel and Blue Dream, originally from Humboldt County, have become dominant strains in the weed market. Cal Poly Humboldt was awarded nearly $2.7 million from the California Department of Cannabis Control to conduct the work, which is expected to last 2 years. Town hall meetings will be conducted in the relevant communities to help field firsthand testimony and a grassroots perspective. Basketball coach Tay Norwood from Cal Poly Humboldt will not return next season. The university announced recently that Norwood's contract was not renewed, and they will begin a search for his replacement. The removal of Norwood comes after the university announced in March that it would be investigating a series of abuse accusations made against the coach by players. The law firm Van der Meiden Makis has been contracted to conduct the independent investigation, which is still ongoing. And that's all our time for this evening. See you next week. Stay tuned. Stay informed.